Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, I'm going to talk about some minds in the minefield, right? So if you ever thought about becoming a teacher or had switched or had thoughts about like I should switch careers and be a teacher, I'm going to say that's probably not a good idea. Because of the what I'm going to talk about, the system and the minds in the minefield. Now, unfortunately, what our society does is that we tend to steer naive and kind-hearted and caring people to certain places like being a teacher and then take advantage of them, right? Burn them out, get work them to death and get rid of them as soon as they're useless to the people in charge. Happens all the time. Happens everywhere, but I'm just going to talk about teaching in general because I don't think this is well known throughout the public. In fact, a long time ago, this is like 15 years ago, I just talked about these ideas to one of my friends from high school, and he got so angry at me. He got so angry at me. He was like, "Hey, how dare you say stuff like that? Because my sister's a teacher, blah 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 blah." And I know what I know, right? Just it's like you know one part intuition, one part just seeing the statistics, and one part having dabbled in it. You kind of know like if you work in the system, kind of like working at Amazon. Like if you blow out your back working at Amazon after 3 months, guess what? There's thousands of people who are like that, and nobody warned you, right? But that's how life is. For some reason, people like to tend, for with failing systems, people like to tend to blame individuals rather than the system itself. A lot of people love to defend corrupt and evil systems. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way of how the world works, right? So one of the ways that you can know if something that you're interested in is really, really bad is if people are making like media and websites and YouTube videos, and you just kind of see it all over the place. Again, kind of like working at Amazon. Like if I type into Google, what's it like working at Amazon in like the Amazon forum, it's gonna be pretty bad. Even Amazon says, "Hey, we're going to run out of workers because we're churning and burning them out in 2024." And we're going to get to 2024. So I'm really curious as to see what's going to happen if they're actually going to run out of workers or not. But that's what their internal study says, right? Same thing with teaching, right? So again, I'm at this website right here called End Teacher Abuse, and it's kind of sad how much information there is about what goes on. And I think this website, well, it says Florida. Well, actually, I think it's based in Illinois. And going through this was kind of a little bit depressing, right here, and showing like documenting everything that goes on within the world of teaching, all the bullying. Um, Teacher abuse is the biggest reason that our schools are dysfunctional. School teachers are afraid into submission, are afraid to speak out against the detrimental administrative choices that are harming our children. Our educational system operates more like organized crime than a profession. And here's the thing, I kind of know this because I did dip my toe in the water, and after 6 months, and here's the thing, um, I was really glad that I didn't have like a master's degree or anything like that because that means I'd be in like debt, and that's kind of how the system kind of gets you, right? So the system makes you get into debt, and because you're in debt, you have no option but to work for a corrupt system, right? And so because I didn't get into debt, my head, I was in a position where I didn't need to get into debt, and my head was a lot clearer. Like this sucks, but again, um, most people um, are helpless and they're suffering in silence, right? But what I'm just saying is that if you see media like this, again, maybe there are websites out there that kind of exaggerate, blah blah blah, but if you see it from like 50, 100 people talking about their experiences about how the system sucks, then you might want to consider like, hey, this is probably somewhere I don't want to go. It's like when people point out like, hey, that neighborhood over there is kind of bad, and all the locals kind of know it and they avoid it. You kind of want to be like that too. You want to, when you're in Rome, well, I don't know if this is really true in this case, but you kind of want to do what the Romans do, right? Like if they're telling you that the area is dangerous, then you just don't go there. Other things too is certain YouTube channels that kind of popped up in my feed that have been really good. I think this one's a former teacher, 75 videos and already 21,000 subs. So you could see that this channel has been resonating with an audience, and probably teachers or former teachers. But why quit teaching Gen Z students? How weak school discipline ruined a generation. Behavior challenges, why quit teaching after 8 years, why an award-winning teacher quit publicly. Schools don't have rules these days. It's like, wow, like, I'm bored, but there's no way that I want to make my life exciting by getting into these situations, right? And, look at the statistics about burnout, right? So if I go in here, it says that almost, I did a Google search, almost half of K to 12 teachers feel very burned out at work. Very often in the 2022 Gallup poll on occupational burnout, 44% of American K-12 teachers reported feeling burned out often or always. In the case of teachers at university college, the figure's at 35%. Let's just look at this. Why are teachers so burned out? Long hours and heavy workload. And here's the thing that nobody really talks about. I'm gonna just kind of give you a diagram of uh, what a teacher faces. And so as a teacher, you have to deal with, think about it. We'll say 5 classes, right? 5 classes, and then 5 class per 30 kids is 150 kids. And so if you just give them like one homework assignment and you have to grade it, guess what? You have to grade 150 times, right? Just one homework assignment. And not only that, you have to deal with admins, so administrators on your back. And on the other side, you gotta have to deal with parents, right? So think about it. So these 150 kids, there's gonna be a certain percentage of them who don't do their work, and then we're gonna have parents who complain about, well, why isn't little Johnny multiplied by 150? Then now you kind of almost have to potentially deal with more than 150, maybe 200, 300 people, along with these administrators. So it's like this, it's like working in fast food, where if you work in fast food, all the entry points where people can interrupt your work, there's so many. Like you got the driveway, you got the walk-in, you got maybe DoorDash, Uber Eats, right? There's so many ways where people can kind of interrupt your workflow. Same with the teacher, right? If you're only teaching 1 to 10 kids, that's not a problem. But if you have to deal with 150 kids and their parents and administrators, you're gonna have a mental breakdown. And that's the unfortunate thing. And not only that, the joke salaries that they get, I forgot what the average salary was, but I remember it was really ridiculous. I hope it's still not true, but I think it's like, well, if you don't live in California, but if you live in California, I think it's over 100K, but I might be wrong about that. But if your average teacher probably just makes like peanuts, right? Probably living paycheck to paycheck, and they have to deal with the societal abuse from all angles, which is kind of sad. Now, here's the thing, certain societies where teaching was considered to be like a noble profession, like South Korea, it's getting bad there too, right? So I remember I saw this article um, about like how this teacher, I think this is this year in elementary school, committed suicide because the parents were bullying him. And I'm not saying that parents are bad, but what I'm saying is that the dynamics have gone astray in pretty much everywhere, where teachers have gone, no authority in their classrooms. And again, in my opinion, like the education system itself should kind of, it needs a huge reform or it should be completely abolished. But what I'm saying is that even countries where teaching was considered to be very prestigious and a decent job, um, it's not that way anymore, right? Like government data shows 100 public school teachers in South Korea, mostly elementary school teachers, killed themselves from January 2018 2023, right? Teacher suicide exposes parent bullying in South Korea. And South Korea's teachers on why they're protesting. So back in my dad's day, when he was in Korea, this would have never happened because it was considered to be such a prestigious profession. And they probably abused their profession too, because they probably beat kids a lot back in the day. But it's like we went from a society from one extreme where power and abuse of power went from one extreme to the other, right? That it's kind of sad just how society is. That it's not about working together with people, but it's about ego and power. And that's kind of why a lot of things just break down in general, because people do not have the mindset that they, hey, I want to grow with you. It's about, hey, I'm gonna bully you down because it offends my ego of whatever's going on, and I need to be able to control you and have power over you. That's just how, and this isn't relegated teaching too, right? But I'm just saying this is why, this is kind of like a symptom of, I think, a sick society at large that I don't know how we're going to correct, right? Because it just seems like the young kids these days are pretty power hungry as well. But yeah, so back to my point, uh, don't be a teacher, right? Don't be a teacher. Teaching sucks in every single country, everywhere. In for whatever reason, society in 2023 has determined that, and this has been true for probably about 10 years or so, that they're going to be the scapegoat for all of society's problems. I don't know why. I mean, I didn't think that, but I mean, to be honest, I'm the type of person who, if I could have a job where it was easy but low paid, that's what I would do. But I've noticed in general, people, we live in a hierarchical society. So if you don't get paid a lot for some reason, people see that as a reason to treat you bad and attack you. And that's why one of the reasons why teachers get attacked. Now, here's the thing: I hated teachers when I was a kid, right? But at the same time, when I see what they're going through, I'm like, dude, that sucks. Like I would never want that for any of my worst enemies. But that's just how life is, and that's why you shouldn't be a teacher. All right, have a great day, everybody. If you're interested in joining our mentorship group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Happy Sunday. Have a great Sunday. And I'm going to say that again, have a great Sunday, and we will speak next time.